healing abutment and creating healing abutment and the digital implantology. Especially working today with this new pandemic, with the COVID-19, which is going to happen a lot of stuff like you guys know. So working with CEREC and with digital flow and all keeping our distance, social distance like they said, working at home. So it's very good to work with digital, and I'm going to speak a little bit about that in the next minutes, okay? So, I live in the middle of the Atlantic, between Europe from one side and America from the other side. So the thing is, I have a lot of patients, like 30% of all my clients come from the US. So the thing, I had to have a quick response to them and at the same time a good response. And that's why 8 years ago more or less, I bought the first CAD CAM that I started working with CEREC. Okay, then if we are talking about digital and if you are going to speak with this kind of things, so I think first of all we have to speak about the 3D treatment plan. With the CBCT scanners, it's very important if you do a CBCT. So first of all, why? Because for me in my practice, one of the most important words is predictability, and I want to be as predictable as possible, and that's why I like to work with CBCT scans. Of course, we can speak about, if we are talking about CBCTs, we can speak about the guided surgery, but actually, like you guys know, guided surgery, it's something that I'm going to speak today, because I want to speak about healing abutment. This is for the next time. I think we'll speak about this in the future, okay? So, if you have a CAD CAM in your office, one of the things you can show to your patient is that you can do a virtual walks-up, which is very good, and even if you can predict and explain to your patient, but to be predictable, you can even speak to him and explain, for example, this black dot over here that we see in this kind, okay? Plastic surgery will say that we have the first surgical stage, then you have the second surgical stage with the healing, and then we do the impressions, we do the try-ins, and last but not least, you do the crown placement. So at least it's everything goes as planned. You have like 5 appointments and 5 visits to the dentist, to our office. Then some of us want to get less appointments, even the patients. So the thing was to do the first and second surgery in the same stage. Then we do the impressions, we do the trying, and then we will do the crown placement. So we have like 5 appointments. Now we have 4 appointments. Okay. This I will show you something that I think for all of you, this happens in your daily basis in your office. When you do impressions, at least my patients, they feel sick a lot sometimes. So this is something that I think every one of you that happen in their offices. Okay?
I'm devastated.
I know it's no picnic, but I will try to make it as comfortable as possible. All right, thanks. Now, we're going to have to make an impression of your mouth. Oh, I've got a little treat for you. Robin, bring in Stephen Baldwin's mold for Doug to look at. Open wide. All right, now bite down. And, okay. Through your nose, just breathe through your nose. Don't panic.
Doug, I'm in the waiting room when you're done, honey, okay? Dr. Farber?
Carrie?
Oh my God, I saw the name on the door, but I didn't connect it.
Wait a minute, is this your wife? Come here, you.
Doug, Dr. Farber and his family used to live up the street from me when I was a kid. I used to babysit for his son. How's your family?
Oh, Marion.
So, like I was telling you, I think we all experience this patients getting sick in the office or whatever. So after there's something that happens many years ago. It was the Industrial Revolution, and I think we all know that this changed our society as we know. Before that and after that, it was a time-changing ever in our society, in our lives. Nowadays, I don't know how many of you guys notice how we are living a new revolution, a new kind of revolution, which is the digital revolution. I and all of you guys know with the Uber, with the taxi drivers, we experience this when we book a travel in the booking, when we have the TripAdvisor, when we go to the Netflix or to the Spotify. And all of that stuff happens in so few years back, like 10 to 13 years ago. So it's amazing how we evolved with the digital world and the digitalization that we are experiencing nowadays. So, there's a law, some like 15 years ago predicted and did this law, which is the Moore law. The Moore law means that the chips will duplicate their capacity in 2 to 2 years. Okay? And nowadays we eat our exponential growth. Between people that live between the 17th and 18th centuries, the way that they lived, it was more or less the same. But then, nowadays, we grew up more as a civilization in 10 years than they did in between 100 years. So it's amazing how we are developing so much and transforming so much our life nowadays. Probably our biggest challenge for us as a society is to keep in pace with all of these new things that are happening in nowadays. Now, we, the society, we need like 5 to 10 years to adapt. If you see the graphic here, you will see that the chips, the capacity of the chips are duplicating 2 to 2 years. That's why, for example, your iPhones, you have iPhones and you see there's not a lot of difference between the iPhone 1 and iPhone 2, but there's a huge step between the iPhone 1 and iPhone 3, and it happens like 2 to 2 years. There's a huge transformation of your cell phone. That's mainly because of this law of Moore law. Okay.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
I don't know if you guys know, in 2007 it was probably the most, it was the peak of acceleration that happened in the digital and the digitalization or in this digital world that we are living now. For me, 2007 was a remarkable year because of my kid, my first daughter was born, and I was a father for the first time. Matilda born in 2007. Actually in the 7/7 of 2007, which was amazing for me. But that's not the reason why I'm speaking to you guys. It's just to explain that in 2007, there were two guys who did something great. At the end of 2006, Mark Zuckerberg launched the Facebook. And in 2007, in the beginning of 2007, Steve Jobs launched the iPhone. So these two events made a perfect storm of changing, and the thing was because we were all connected and we were all at the same time living, have internet at any place, anywhere in the world. Okay, so the only fact compared with the peak of acceleration that happened in the digital world that we are living is it was in the late 60s. Men went into moon. That's the only parallel when we go into moon. Then what happened in 2007. So if you do this graphic over here, and if you put two lines, time and the rhythm of change, you will see that we start growing like this, and then it's like poof, pop up, like very quick. And we as a society, we are developing. And we have more adaptability, like for a long time. Our human adaptability is also growing. Between 7th and 18th century, we took like 100 years to adapt, and now we adapt in 5 to 10 years. It's fantastic. But still, we are a little bit higher than our human adaptability. So, how can we go there? How can we just do this step? There are two things we have to do. We have to learn quickly, and our governments should rule smarter. That's the two ways that we can go until here where we are now. Okay? Well, speaking about digitalization and all that stuff, I want to explain for you guys what I think about the cloud. For me, I don't like the term cloud because clouds it's like too soft, cute stuff. But actually, for me, I compare the clouds nowadays with the supernova. Current technologies are continuing to grow exponentially, like you guys know. The term cloud refers to the services that occur on the net instead of running in your external disk of your PC. Okay? So, for example, Netflix. Another example is the Spotify or the Apple Music or wherever. It's, you know, there's a bunch of nowadays this things running on the cloud. So supernova releases energy. Now machines have power and they are all clever. They think and they are connected. For example, they have 5 senses: cars, cellular phones, watches, and 3D printer all together in what we call AE, artificial intelligence. Okay, so the supernova, the supernova expands, and when it is expanding, what we are putting is data and more data. That's why it's more and more and more. That's why I think it's a flux of energy, unbelievable what's happening. And of course it brings new ideas, new medical councils, and even in the commerce, everyone is earning something with this new knowledge. Okay, so the learning grows at a pace never seen before. This is the world as that I think that we live in today, nowadays. So what I think is that we are living in this virus revolution, okay? And what's happening with this virus? So we were already all living in a digital era, and now what's happening with this virus is that this virus is with the social distancing, with working at home, and our kids are working at their homes also. So studying at home, we are working at home. So the virus forces us to go further, a little bit, 1 or 2 steps further to the technologies, further to the meetings by the internet, and that's very good if we just take the advantage of it. We as a dentist, we have to be in the office with the patients, but if we use digital tools like CAT cams, CBCT scanners, everything, we can decrease the number of visits to our office. Okay, so that's why I think it's so important that we live today with the digital and live among digitalization and living with all of this changing that's happening nowadays. Okay, so Bill Gates predicted this in this video that I'm going to show you. Okay, with the coronavirus in 2016.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement, filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes.
Once Darwin said, it's not the strongest that will survive, neither the more clever. It's the one that best adapt to changes. Okay? And if you see Mark Zuckerman almost 200 years later, he said almost the same thing, that the bigger risk is not to take a risk. In a world that changes so quickly, the unique strategy that will certainly fail is not to risk. They are both saying just the same stuff between 100 years, and this virus is just putting us to adapt to change. And even if we see this holistically, I know that even if some of us will die, some of our families can die, even I can die, but unfortunately this will happen. But this virus will force us to adapt to these changes, and we as a society, we are going to evolve a lot with that. So there's this new era with CAD/CAM, which is the computer-aided design with computer-aided manufacturing. There's a lot of systems. I think we all know that, you guys also. and I work at least with 3 of them, with VHF. I work also with zirconzane, I work with CEREC. At least 3 systems I work in a daily basis. I can say to you guys that are advantages and disadvantages of all of them. So it's like they are all good, but if we take the best parts of each other, it's much more easy, and putting the brands apart, it's the most clever way to work with CAD/CAM nowadays, okay? So, when we say, CAD/CAM is the future, or no, it's CAD/CAM, it's like super modern speaking about CAD/CAM. Actually, CAD/CAM is almost 40 years old. It's 13 and 17 years old now, because it started in 1987, okay? With some veneers and ceramic inlays, okay? Overlays and stuff like that. So, in my office, what I do, and I really like to work with CAD/CAM, is, for example, to doing virtually walk-ups. It's very good, like I said to you guys, to explain this to you before we see the black dot, etc. But the thing best for me is that we can predict the X of where I'm going to place my implant, and it's more predictable as well. So here you can see where I pointed to do my implant, and then I drill it, and after raising flat, I already put my implant in the same place. Well, why do I like to work with OSSTEM? OSSTEM is always 1 step or 2 steps further. I really like their new kits. They always have the last kit, cast kit, asset kits. Every year when I go to the world meeting, there's a new toy for me, and I really like it because they developed a lot of new technologies in our industry, and it's something that I feel very comfortable with. And one of the things I really like to work with OSSTEM is, for example, when they put now they just want to work with CEREC and other systems, and they are always 1 step further, 1 step advanced to almost every other companies. And now they created the tiling for CEREC, and also you have the scan post and the scan body. And because I'm speaking to all of you guys, some of you guys are more experienced than I am, others are less, so I'm going to explain the basics, and then we go to the further on this webinar, okay? So, when we place one implant, after that we are going to just put your scan post, and then you are going to put your scan body over. So first the scan post, and the other the scan body, okay? After that, we are going to choose the tooth that we are treating. In this case, is the 47. Now we are going to select the scan post or the tie base. Then we are going to select our material. We are going to do the gingival mask. Then we are going to scan our lower jaw. Then we are going to scan our scan post. Then we are going to scan our maxilla. Then we are going to beg your patient to bite. And then you are going to have the bite of their patients, okay? So the software knows exactly how high is the crown to be, okay? Then this is an example of the gums, just all with good emergency profile. Now you select the 2 materials or zircons, or in this case it's MX, which is the silicate, and you have also the thallium, okay? And then the provisional thallium, and then I choose in this case MX, and now I milled 1 crown in MX, and I placed my crown in my patient's mouth. So in the CAD/CAM area, now we do it usually in 1 or 2 days, the rehabilitation of an implant. And I'm going to explain some of these new things that I do, and it's very good because of what's happening with us, with this virus, and the will that we have now, and the people also, as the patients want to go less times to the office because of the risk of infection. Okay, so if we put it in 2 or even in 1 appointment, much better. So what we are going to do is going to scan this scan body, and then I am going to mill in the same appointment my crown. If the patient wants to wait like half an hour or a little bit more, I will place my crown. If not, we'll put it in the second day. But as we all know, we have a lot of expenses nowadays. It's very expensive, the protections that we are putting ourselves with this virus. So in this, it's going to, the patients also will want to wait, they are going to pay more. And that's a problem that we are all facing nowadays. So if we just do it in 1 appointment, much better. And then I place the crown, as you see here in this pic. So another case of 2 days rehabilitation case. So first I just extract the tooth, then I place my implant, I scan it, and I put it here the button. Okay. Then I design a permanent crown, but with but I just mill it with the provisional material, the delta that I was saying. And then I cut it, the occlusion, just for the crown to be in subocclusion, okay? After 3 months, in the second day, the patient comes, and you can see it here in the pics, with all the gums very well healed. Then I take the crown, the provisional, and then I place it with the same design, the crown that I previously had milled with the permanent material, okay? So I cement the permanent crown, and I only take 2 appointments from the day that I place my implant to the day that I finish with putting my crown. So it's like very good nowadays, with the difference between the 5 stages that we used to have, now we have 2, okay? Healing abutment with CEREC, okay? Healing abutments are creating your customized healing abutment. It's fantastic. This is one of the first cases I've done, and I was shocked with the results that I obtained through this technique, okay? So first of all, I raise my flap, I place my implant, and as you can see over here, I put the line over the alveolus, the fresh extraction alveolar bone, okay? So that is going to be my emergency profile of my crown. And my crown, my provisional crown, is going to seal my fresh extraction bone, okay? I mill it, I place it, and you can see here, 3 months later, the outcome. We have just very, very, very good healed gingivas, gums. And it's you to do some results like I'm going to show you. You have to be a very exquisite periodontologist. But mostly of us, this with using CAD-CAM is that almost every one of us can do exquisite results just by using CAD-CAM and not doing some so fancy stuff, okay? So here you can see the result when I take out my crown. You can see here the gums are. And if you ask any lab technicians when they see this, what they think of this, they will say, perfect, the work is all done because you have the perfect emergency profile. Then you place your crown and permanent crown, and you see the gums are they healed so properly, and they are so good. So that's one of the things I really like it. Well, I was so thrilled with all these new things because I was an implantologist and I had this CEREC, and I was using CEREC, which was designed to do crowns, and I was doing customized healing abutment, and I was just so thrilled. Then they invited me to go to Las Vegas, where I see one big friend of mine from college times, which was Carlos Repullo from Spain. I didn't imagine back then that he was already like some years before me doing the same stuff. So he had a lot of answers for me, and with that technique that he created, that is going to reduce the visits of appointments also, and creating a customized healing abutment, which was fantastic. And I learned a lot with Carlos Repulho and with that technique. Okay, so we dentists, what do we want to create? Perfect gums architecture. All of us want to create something like this. And here I can show you, the thing is, soft tissues are not predictable as are tissues. For example, nowadays we speak about the emotion and history with the DSD, Digital Smile Design, and we all speak about this, but the thing is, we are predicting our results are a lot of predictable. Why? Because we are talking about our tissues. For example, the plastic surgeons nowadays, they use also to do breast augmentation. They have programs of computer that are similar to ones of the DSD. But all my friends that I work with, they don't like to use this in plastic surgery. Why? Because soft tissues are not as predictable, and they sometimes do a lot of complications with your patients because of the raised or low expectations of the patients, and that's a problem that they face really because it's soft tissues. And here, when I show you, this is the best result that you want to have, but if you take 3 peaks, different 3 peaks, and you only wait between the 3 peaks, you take one picture and then wait 30 seconds and take another one, you'll see that what's happening to the gums, they are going to do a closure. They are going to do a closure. And that's why when you do impressions, you go to there, and then when you come, your assistant comes with the impression material, you already lost the impression, okay? But that's something that I want to one day explain the other way. I do a combined technique to do that, but that's something that we are going to explain in the future. So we should scan hard tissues and not soft tissues, as I said before. And that's why, first of all, what I do in the depth technique is that I scan my 2 tooth that I'm going to extract. In this case, it was 2 central incisors. Then, with my drill, I'm going to reduce all the crown until the roots. And then, now I'm going to scan it. Then I will perform the 2 extractions, and I will also remove the cyst that this patient had. I will going to raise a little bit the flap, I will put some membrane, and I place my implants, and I will scan it. And now what you're going to see is that I have my 2, the software is going to stitch the 2 images, the old tooth and the new implants, all combined in the same picture. So yeah, I have an idea of the X of the implants. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say to my computer, is that I'm going to draw the line in the old root, okay? So here you can see perfectly the implant and the root, they are stitched in the same peak, and I can create the old emergency profile of the old root. So my new crown is going to have the same emergency profile of my old tooth, okay? Then my software is going to give me a proposal of crown, and then I can do some adjusts here and there, but that's the way they do it. And that's, for example, the most important part for me, which you have, imagine this, you have 2 crowns, one provisional and one in permanent material, okay? You design the 2 crowns. And then you are going to reduce this one in occlusion. And what's happening at the bottom part of the 2 crowns are just the same. So this one is subocclusion, the provisional. When the patient comes in the next appointment, we are taking this one and replace the permanent crown. That's how easy it is, that technique. And the result of the gingivous, I want to show you guys just to see it, what's happening. Okay. Very importantly, like you see in this picture, you have to be 3 millimeters above your gums, okay? Here, after I did the surgery, and 3 months later you can see the results. In the second day you can see the perfect gums that we have, and then I just milled 2 crowns and I place it, and this is the results, fantastic results that I felt that we have. Sometimes you don't have the crown, and then in these cases what I do, I just put I scan my crown and my root, and I use the root and to create the same emergency profile that I had in the last crowns. Here you can see it. So I extract my root, I place my implants, and then I'm going to scan I will put the scan post and the scan body, and I will scan it. And the same thing that happened in the past. The software is going to stitch the 2 images, the implant and the root, and I will place the line over my old root to have the same emergency profile of my old tooth. Then software is going to give me a proposal, and I will just do the same step. I'm going to reduce occlusion 3 millimeters above the gums. We have to put the reduction, and for it properly near the gums. And 3 months later we can do the crown, the new crown. Okay. Another case, just the same way. So you take out, first you scan the root, then we place an implant, scan body and scan body and scan. We put the scan post and scan body, sorry, and then we will place it, and we're going to scan it, and we have the crown. We are going to do a reduction of this proposal of the crown 3 millimeters above the gums. Don't forget that. It's very, very important that you don't forget that, for the gums to heal properly. And then we are going to place your customized healing abutment. Okay? So, in the second day, it's very easy, like you see here in the software. I'm going to show you now. It's going to go to the software, and you are going just to say restore, and the software automatically just puts it puts the old design crown that you did in the first day when you did the surgery. So it's very, very, very easy, and that's mainly what I want to show you guys. Okay. The thing is, like I show you now, we take the provisional abutment and we place the permanent crown. Okay. Which is very easily. So, in the implants rehabilitation in the CAD/CAM area, in the first day, we do all that. So we do the surgical stage, we are going to do the intraoral scan, we are going to do the healing abutment, and we are doing the design of our permanent crown. Okay, so we do all the stuff in the first appointment. So in the second day, 3 months later, usually, we remove the healing abutment that we already placed, and we are going to place the new crown. Okay? But it was already previously designed in the first appointment. Okay? Now, this is a case that I'm going to just show you because of the multidisciplinary cases that I really like, because of the multidisciplinary case it was. So first we did, you see this patient with this open bites. So what we done, it was first orthodontics and orthodontic surgery, and then I placed my implants, and I placed my provisional crowns, and of course the cherry on top of the cake was when I performed the 2 veneers in the central incisors. Okay, so I really like to work this case, and you can see even from the expression of our patients, we transform lives of people. That's what I really like to do in this profession.
The sun is rising. The Saxon Island, the powerful one. If you don't have the spirit, then you can return. Then you can't return.
Aqui, estás a ver, a apicectomia realizada, olha ali, estás a ver o ápex? Estás a ver ou não? O ápex da apicectomia, olha ali, o defeito ósseo todo, ok? E aqui vamos cortar o implante, não é?
The sun is rising. Starts another day. Still the magic of the night didn't go away. The night and embrace the day. I want to live in Ibiza. Feel your body and everybody. That's the game we will play. I want to live in Ibiza. The night and embrace the day. I want to live in Ibiza. Feel your body and everybody. That's the game we will play. Oh.
3 months later, that's the result that we obtain with the grams. And the soft tissues, the predictability of the soft tissues, like I said, and we can see, and I really like to do, and I performed this x-ray 8 months later, and you can see all the buccal bone that still exists, and as you can and like you saw it on the movie, there was no buccal plate, it was all gone, and now we just add the buccal plate again. Well, let's speak about something that is very important. DSD, Digital Smile Design. Nowadays, since Coachman starting with the motion industry, which I really love, and I love Coachman for doing that, we can predict more where we're going to place our implant, and it's very important for us. So DSD, we can use it in implantology just to predict where I'm going to place my implant, and explain to my patients what they can expect from what we are doing now. Okay. DSD, OSSTEM. With this case of this movie, I'm going to show some of the things that we can do today, and when we work with all these techniques, all these companies which work with technology like OSSTEM, CEREC, DSD with Coachman and all that stuff. I really like this.
Feel this, come on.
what is success? It changes from person to person. Is it doing a quick implant? Or it is placing in the right spot? Or have a good osseointegration? I don't know. I think success is something that changes from person to person. Me particularly, I like this example because successful is just like being pregnant. Everybody congratulates you, but nobody knows how many times you tried. And I will tell you something, I tried a lot and I failed a lot, like every one of us doing these new technologies. One of the things that you should question yourself is everything you get for granted today. Why? Because the universities learn with you, with us, and the industry learn with us, the users. Why? Because we are developing so quickly, the transformation is so quick that there's not enough time to study so deep what we are doing, and that's why the industry asks us on a daily basis what are our experience, what are we doing, and everything. And what is the future? What you think, guys, is going to be the future? I don't know. Probably nobody knows. But what I'm certain of, everything we do today can be it can be better, improved in the future. Okay? So, a comfort zone, it's a beautiful spot, but I think nothing ever grows up there. And one of the things good with this virus and all this technology is that now it's forcing us, it's pushing us to leave our comfort zone. And we as a society, and we as dentists and all the society, we have to adapt to all of this perfect storm of changing that's happening, and we have to embrace it and live happily. Okay, we are going to escape this, and I thank you all for hearing me until now, and hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to put some links here if you want to enter in contact with me or any doubts or anything. Just feel free to call me. Okay, take care.